Hi, I'm Andrew Penman, CEO of the Cancer Council of New South Wales. For more than 50 years, we've been working with people in New South Wales to support those affected by cancer, to help prevent cancer, to speak out on cancer issues, and to search for ways to finally beat this disease.
Large percentage, like 40% of the calls, are quick information calls on where they can get treatment. Another 40% would be a person themselves who's just been diagnosed or their family member. A recent call that comes to mind was a lovely gentleman that rang me. He was an elderly man with prostate cancer. He was actually at the end of the line for treatments. When we got into the call, his main concern was leaving his wife behind. We looked at family options and who will be around, and also getting in some services in the district where he knew that when it was time for him to go, that people were calling in on his wife.
Part of my job is to provide financial assistance for our patients and some of their family members as they're impacted by cancer. A great resource for us is the New South Wales Cancer Council's Financial Assistance Program, which is a one-off payment of $300. When the money goes, because the person can no longer continue working, people and families really feel that. We see it in our patients' eyes when we can offer it to them.
We offer accommodation for all sorts of people. The majority of the people are cancer care, come to Nepean for their treatment. Most of the people that are here come from the country. It's somewhere where they can actually get out of the hospital feel but still be close to where their treatment is.
My name is Ellie Middleton. I'm staying here at Hope Cottage and I'm from along the country, and it makes you feel very much at home.
I'm here in support for my daughter Ellie, who is having radiation treatment for a brain tumour, because there's nowhere at home to have this sort of treatment.
You know, I've been driving the bus for about 9 years, I think, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, as a matter of fact. I find the bus incredibly good for people, the fellowship which is on the bus. We get people on it for the first time and they get on the bus really worried, but within only minutes they're not worried. And then when they get to the unit up there at the cancer care, if there's nobody there, I take them in there to make them feel a bit better.
It's a great service and great drivers.
When patients come to us for their breast cancer consultation, part of it is that we refer people to Cancer Connect. The patients find that they get a much more human understanding of their problems when they talk to somebody who's gone through the same thing as them.
My name's Evan. I'm part of the Call Connect program at the Cancer Council. It's a one-to-one support program that links up newly diagnosed patients of a similar age and similar situation with someone that's actually survived cancer. I actually had a lump in my testicle for over 3 years and I didn't actually tell anyone about it. So basically my motivation behind becoming a Call Connect volunteer is I always think back if there was just someone that was there that I could speak to.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Very early on in the process, I was contacted by another cancer patient, and she was a girl that was 5 years out from her original diagnosis. So she was very helpful, explaining to me what to expect from surgery, chemotherapy.
I was so impressed with all the things that the Cancer Council offered, and they're all brochures, books, services, telephone support. Everything that they do is just absolutely really helpful.
At Canada Bay, we are committed to providing a safe and healthy area for our community, and we've over the past few years introduced some wonderful programs, and certainly a few of those that I'd like to mention are the Relay for Life, the SunSmart childcare centres, providing meeting rooms for our support groups, and also ones that I'm very proud of is introducing the no smoking around children's playgrounds, that we've implemented signage there to help notify people using those parks that you can't smoke there, and for some good reasons too.
You may have noticed over the last year or so a change if you go to your pub or club in New South Wales. Hopefully you'll have noticed that they're now smoke-free indoors, and that's something that we know that the community has wanted for some time. The reason advocacy is so important to the Cancer Council is because we know there is much more we can do to reduce the risk of cancer, and we know that there is much we can do to improve the healthcare system for those who are diagnosed with cancer. We know that the prevalence of junk food advertising to children changes the sorts of things that children say they prefer to eat and is contributing to our obesity crisis in Australia. We've been working to convince the federal government to ban junk food advertising to children on television. We rely heavily on not just speaking out as a Cancer Council, but asking people in the community to express their views to government, to show the government that this is an issue that the community cares about.
We have members in our advocacy network from all over the mid-north coast. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2003. I found that the hardest thing for me to get back was my hope, my sense of optimism. And just around that time when I was dealing with a lot of those issues, I was invited to participate in advocacy training. This gave me something that I could do not just for myself but for others to really make an impact against cancer.
The Cancer Council is the biggest non-government funder of research in New South Wales. Our research portfolio covers all types of cancer and all stages of the cancer journey.
We've been very fortunate to receive one of the Strategic Research Partnership Awards from the Cancer Council. The focus of our research is to develop ways in which we can translate research findings that are happening in the laboratory to the patients. Being in daily contact with patients with cancer obviously is a massive motivation to actually work on the disease and trying to find better ways of treating it. It also focuses your mind on the problems that are actually immediately important to patients today.
My group's research here at Children's Cancer Institute is focused on trying to understand the molecular basis and the biology of how normal cells evolve into cancer cells. I've come across some children with cancer, and it's certainly heartbreaking and certainly difficult to understand how I would cope as a mother with my child having an illness like cancer. All I know is that I would be desperate for them to be cured.
We're also working on a drug that we've invented that can actually measure whether current cancer therapies are working or not. What this compound does is it measures dead and dying tumour cells. So it measures the result of these cancer drugs the day after you first take the drug.
I work for the Cancer Council Research Division as an advocate for the CLEAR study. The CLEAR study is a long-term important study about the evaluation of risk associated with lifestyle and genetic factors. It involves participation by patients and their spouses, where they undertake a questionnaire that talks all about the lifestyle factors, whether it's exercise, sun exposure, diet, education, etc.
I was involved with the Cancer Council's prostate study, and I believe that in the coming years, more and more progressively, a lot of blokes will be helped by the results of that study. Just because you're diagnosed with cancer, it's not the end of the world. It's a big shock. Make no bones about it, it's a big shock. But it's not the end of the world, you're still alive, for goodness sake.
Tackling cancer is an enormous challenge, but with sufficient resources, commitment and belief, we can finally beat this disease.
Almost every single person that you speak to at uni and in the community has a story about someone they know, a friend, a family member, or someone who's been affected by cancer, and people want to do something about it.
I think the Cancer Council is important because as an oncology nurse, I really appreciate all the money that they put into research trying to find a cure for this diseise.
I think the Cancer Council to the community means that we're a face of hope. When I meet people from the community, they know that I'm doing something to help better their lives.
I believe what the Cancer Council is doing for New South Wales and Australia has to be well supported, because we are losing too many people to cancer, and the more money we can raise to help Cancer Council do more research, the less people will lose.
So sing your song, make me smile.
It's all the strength I need. Sometimes it's hard to find your place, for your thoughts to dance away. Remember what you said to me. It's all the strength I need. You taught me to breathe.